In the current event in DMO, you get a free SSS rank evolution selector and a free SSS plus selector from the attendance event. So in this video, we'll talk about all the options between the SSS and the SSS plus to help you choose which one to pick. And we're gonna do it in a form of a good old tier list. We have one for the SSS and one for the SSS plus. So I'm gonna go quickly over the SSS since it's not that big of a deal, but basically in reality the best one you should be picking is gonna be Alpha Ryoken X, mainly because you're gonna be picking Omegamon X and the SSS plus selector. It is the best option, so I'm just gonna cut to the chase. And because you're gonna be choosing Omegamon X, you should be choosing Alpha Ryoken X because Alpha Ryoken X is required for the legendary Knights of Vaccine, which is a pretty good deck buff, gives you 15% base HP, and keep in mind the base HP increases the amount of HP you get from clone and HP buffs, so it is very valuable. This is one of the best deck buffs that you can get outside of the U rank ones, so it's very valuable. This is mostly why we're getting for Omegamon X, but also this is why you should be choosing Alpha Ryoken X from the selector. But technically you can get Alpha Ryoken X elsewhere, mostly from Gankumon, so you still have other options. If you're gonna pick a virus SSS plus for some reason, if you already have, then you should be going for say Galgomon instead or Alpha Ryoken X. Both are fine vaccine SSS plus, so basically just go for the opposite of the attribute of the SSS plus that you selected, but it kinda doesn't matter because if you're going for Omegamon X, you still want that deck buff. But if you already have Alpha Ryoken X, what other options should you go for? Probably Bilfimon or Bilzimon Awaken. Both are honestly kinda similar, to be completely honest. Then we have the ones that kinda bad: Shoutmon DX, Susanomon, Galantumon Awaken, and Sakuyamon Awaken. All are kinda bad just because there are better options. Shoutmon DX is just garbage. Susanomon is just weaker than Alpha Ryoken X and Saint Galgomon. Same with Galantumon Awaken, he's weaker than both Bilfimon and Bilzimon Awaken, so there's no reason to pick him. And you get one of those three from the selector anyway, from the doing the 5 island quests. But obviously you only pick if you're going for the SSS plus evolution. If you're going for Susanomon Awaken, then obviously pick Susanomon from here. If you're going for Shoutmon Cross 7, then obviously pick Shoutmon DX. If you're obviously going for Crimson Awaken or something somehow, then yeah, you can choose Sakuyamon or Galantumon, but otherwise they're not really worth it. And then on a technicality, Fangulongmon Awaken is the highest value because it requires 4 items, which makes it the most expensive one by far. So if you ever want to unlock Fangulongmon Awaken, this is gonna be the cheapest it will ever be because it is the most expensive SSS in this list because it requires 4 items, and since they can't be used in Digital Fusion, they are always gonna be valuable. Probably not gonna ever go down below 200 Tera a piece, and you need 4 of it, so it's bare minimum 800 Tera. So technically it's highest value, but honestly the best option is gonna be Alpha Ryoken X for the deck buff. Other than that, it kinda doesn't matter if I'm completely honest. And now we move on to the SSS plus, the one that really matters. So I'm gonna be honest, put the Omegamon X in the bag. It's not even close at this point. Just as you saw, the deck buff, it's very strong. 15% base HP is honestly very good because again it increases the HP you get from buffs and clones, so it ends up not being not just 15% HP increase, it's 15% on your base HP, so it ends up being a very decent amount of HP increase. In addition, Omegamon X himself is obviously still being relatively strong, still one of the strongest, if not the strongest SSS plus. But we have a new competition in town, Wargreymon Awaken. So Wargreymon Awaken, as far as I know, deals more damage than Omegamon X, assuming you have Extreme Evolution. Without Extreme Evolution, I'm not sure if that's the case, but Wargreymon Awaken doesn't really give you a deck buff. So if I'm completely honest, and also it does have less HP than Omegamon X, technically it can use the Guardian Heist to make up for the lower HP. So honestly, it's gonna be between these two. I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. So Omegamon X and Wargreymon Awaken are your best 2 options. So yeah, pick either of them. Personally, I would lean more towards Omegamon X since the HP deck buff is gonna be increase your HP to your overall account. If you gonna get any other Digimon, it will make use of the deck buff, while Wargreymon will be the only one doing more damage. If you give him Guardian, which he will need to keep up, it's not gonna do much for your other Digimons. So I would lean more towards Omegamon X. Obviously, if you already have Omegamon X, then maybe it would be worth getting Wargreymon as an upgrade. So these two are the best 2 options. Let's talk about other good vaccine options. So we have Susanomon Awaken Alpha Mode Awaken, and Fighter Mode Awaken, and they are pretty much in that order. So Solomon Awaken is honestly kinda decent. I don't think I can put him up there just because these two are kinda better, but he is honestly very competitive with them. So Solomon Awaken is still decent, but no reason to pick him over the other two. Alpha Mode Awaken is noticeably weaker. It's not bad by any means, but it's kinda a little bit weaker than these guys, especially compared to like Omega X or Wargreymon Awaken in terms of damage. Fighter Mode Awaken, as far as I know, this is the one Digimon I don't have. Like, I just wanna like emphasize on this. These are the 3 Digimons I don't have on my account, so take what I say with a grain of salt. It's not like 100% accurate, but I have seen some videos, I've seen like the DBS comparison that other people did, and yeah, as I said, Wargreymon Awaken seems to be the highest in terms of damage, with Solomon being 3rd and this guy being 4th. And Fighter Mode Awaken looks to be kinda weak. Even though his stats looks nice, his ASB is not really good, so and he ends up not being very good with them. He does have higher skill damage, so I think that can end up being more valuable in the long run if you do like a skin only run, but it's not something I have experience with, to be completely honest, so I can't really speak on that. So for now, I don't think I can rate him that high. So honestly, it's gonna be on a lower tier because it's kinda weaker than all the other options. So that's for Vaccine Digimon. I don't think there's any reason to pick Virus Digimons. We have 3 decent Virus Digimons, kinda. Oh yeah, I forgot Zed. Is Zed in there? Okay, yeah, I forgot Zed. So for Virus Digimons, for a start, I wanna say I don't think it's worth it to pick a Virus, but if you already have Omega X, then maybe it's fine to pick out whatever Digimon. I think if you already have Omega X, maybe it might be worth it to go for Wargreymon as an upgrade, but if you somehow already have both and you wanna pick a Virus Digimons, the best one you should pick is probably gonna be Lucemon Awaken, with Mervamon being 2nd, Bagramon 3rd, and Zed is just bad. This is gonna be like lower. Obviously, if we wanna like make a list, I'll probably put this guy up here, Mervamon also up here, this guy stays here, and Zed is like the lowest tier. Also, don't take the tiers too serious. I'm just like talking about each Digimon individually. As I said, I think the Virus, as far as like priority go, would be lower than the Vaccine ones, but if you already have them, then Virus are not like bad to have. And honestly, the reason for that, we don't really have content that favors Virus Digimons outside of like the Holy Beast dungeons and Faglungmon dungeon, but you kinda can do them with a triple S ranks. So yeah, don't think there's a reason for a triple S plus. Like, the difference between the triple S pluses and the triple S for Virus Digimons, it's a more HP, and HP is only relevant on harder content, and there's currently no harder content that favors Virus Digimons. The only in-game-ish dungeon that want a specific attribute are Real Base Hard and Solomon Dungeon. Real Base want Vaccine, and Solomon want Vaccine or Data, mostly obviously Data, but Vaccine still do fine in Solomon Dungeon. So Virus Digimons, you're not gonna be able to use them in Solomon Dungeon. I mean, you technically can, but why would you do that? Unless that's the only thing you have, which it shouldn't be. You should be picking one of the top 2. So Virus Digimon, I would say, maybe a little less valuable, but if you already have good Vaccine Digimon, you already have Omega X, and you are not interested in Wargreymon Awaken, then Lucemon Awaken would be the best virus to get, with cross-up Mirror 2nd, I think. I'm not sure, honestly. I tested both and they looked kind of similar without Extreme Evolution, and that's kind of what makes it harder to judge, because you don't always have Extreme Evolution, but when you do, Lucemon Awaken is kind of fine. So either between Lucemon Awaken or cross-up Mirror. Bagra is just not it. He's just weaker than these two because of his lower critical rate, and Zed have even lower critical rate despite his stats being very competitive with all of them, but the lower critical rate really hurts him. So Zed just on the lower tier. And then finally, Cross 7 and Metal Gurumon. I'm gonna be honest with you, this guy just even worse. Okay, technically he can be used in the Solomon Dungeon, but low critical rate, and he's only ever gonna be useful in the Solomon Dungeon, and he's a bit harder to use than some of these Digimons because of his lower critical rate. Technically it doesn't matter as much because you have advantage in Solomon Dungeon, which means you get to build less critical rate, so you technically can get away with his lower critical rate. I think you can get away with like 300 something, but even then that's still reasonably hard to achieve with this guy, so I honestly wouldn't pick him up. Then we have Metal Gurumon Awaken, and this guy is kind of weird because in terms of damage he's kind of up there. As far as I know, he's also deals decent damage compared to these guys, but he's Data, so he's only ever gonna be useful in Solomon Dungeon, and he have the lowest HP. I think the lowest triple S plus when it comes to HP. It's not unsalvageable, so technically you can still like run Guardian, have like Omega X deck buff, and obviously 6-piece Yule effect, but like it's not exclusive to him, so I'm not gonna like count. He's still gonna have lower HP even with all that, because like you can also get Guardian high on Wargreymon Awaken, so technically he can be good for Solomon Dungeon, but is it really worth it to go for this guy for a singular dungeon? I think that's kind of up to you, but keep in mind, even if you're gonna use him in Solomon Dungeon, he will still struggle to survive compared to these guys. So honestly, if you happen to have Omega 1X, you might get him as an upgrade for Solomon Dungeon or something. I don't know. He's fine. Just I wouldn't pick him over the other option. Now, something I kind of wanna like mention in the patch note, the box of courage and friendship, as far as I know, it's a selector box. Like, yeah, it's a selector within a selector. However, I've heard people tell me that this is not a selector box. This is, you get both, which I don't think that's true. If I'm completely honest, I'm going with that assumption. So this is gonna be the list. Obviously, don't look at the list. Like this doesn't matter. This is not a real list. I just use it to talk about the Digimons. Like honestly, I wouldn't put this guy higher than. Actually, if we make it into a list, I think that would be it, right? Yeah. I think I would put this guy lower. Actually, yeah, that if it's a list, then it's like this. I think I'm putting Darkness Bagra down because I don't think I see a reason to pick him over. And you know what? Honestly, you can stay here. I think. Yeah. Okay. There it is. This is the list. I don't know if I'm too happy with it, but actually I'm gonna put this guy up here because he's at least fine. Just unfortunate HB, I guess, but it's not unplayable. But yeah, this is the list. It's not really a list, but make sure to focus on the yapping. If you skip the video, it's go skip to the end to see the list. This is not a list, okay? Listen to the yapping, okay? It's important yapping. The best one you should pick is Omega 1X. War Greymon Awaken is fine, but I think Omega 1X is still more valuable in my opinion because of deck buff. Solomon Awaken, kinda worse than both of them. Lucimon Awaken, no reason to pick virus over a vaccine. Metal Garurumon can be okay in Solomon Dungeon, but that's kinda it. His damage is fine, so I don't know if I should put him higher or lower. I don't know. Rosa Merva is fine, but I think Lucimon Awaken is a bit stronger. AOE is just a bit weaker than Solomon Awaken, which is kinda a little bit weaker than Omega 1X and War Greymon Awaken, so he kinda goes down a little bit. Darkness Bagara, again, no reason to pick him over the other virus Digimons. Same thing with Spider Mode. Cross 7 is kinda garbage. And Zed is also kind of garbage. I think anything above Close-Up Merva is fine. Like, these guys, I think they're fine, but I don't think Lucimon should be your only SSS plus. I don't think this should be your only SSS plus. These three, I think, are fine. But yeah, that's the list. Let me know down in the comments what you think. And with that, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like on it and subscribe for more demo content. And I'll see you guys in the next video.